Hello everyone, today we will discuss about digestion of proteins. When we eat food, our digestive system breaks down the proteins into individual amino acids which are absorbed and used by cells to build other proteins or a few other macromolecules such as DNA. So, in the digestion of proteins, there are no proteolytic enzymes in the mouth. In the mouth, no proteolytic enzymes. So, after mastication and chewing, the food bolus reaches the stomach and it meets the gastric juice. So, it reaches the stomach. So, protein digestion starts in the stomach. So, when the food bolus enters the stomach, it stimulates the secretion of hormone gastrin from gastric mucosal cells. This gastrin in turn stimulates the release of gastric juice. And this gastric juice contains HCl, then pepsinogen and rennin. So, when the food bolus enters the stomach, it stimulates the secretion of hormone gastrin and from the gastric mucosal cells. This gastrin in turn stimulates the release of gastric juice which contains HCl, pepsinogen and rennin. And this HCl is secreted by parietal cells of gastric gland. These parietal cells of gastric gland secrete HCl. This HCl causes denaturation of proteins. It causes denaturation of proteins. And these denatured proteins are more easily digested. These are easily digested. And this stomach contains a protein digesting enzyme that is known as pepsinogen. Pepsinogen. This pepsinogen, it is secreted by chief cells and it is in the inactive form. This is the inactive form. So, it needs to be activated. So, its activation is done by HCl and HCl activates the inactive pepsinogen to active form that is known as pepsin. So, pepsinogen is converted to its active form pepsin by HCl. This pepsin, it is an endopeptidase. Endopeptidase. And it hydrolyzes peptide bonds inside the protein molecule. That is why the name endopeptidase. It can hydrolyze peptide bonds inside the protein molecule. Here, HCl provides optimum pH for the action of these enzymes. So, pepsinogen is converted to its active form pepsin by HCl. This pepsinogen, then this pepsin can cause its own activation and so it is known as autocatalytic action or autocatalysis. Pepsin can cause its own activation. So, it is known as autocatalysis. Then this pepsin, it will act on proteins and it is break down to peptones and proteoses. These are small peptides. Pepsin act on proteins and broken down into, and these proteins are broken down into peptones and proteoses. And this pepsin which acts on the peptide bond which connects the carboxyl group of aromatic amino acids like it carboxyl group of aromatic amino acids like phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan with amino group of an aromatic amino acid or a dicarboxylic acid. So it is active on the peptide bond which connects the carboxyl group of aromatic amino acids like phenylalanine, tyrosine or tryptophan with amino group of another aromatic amino acid or a dicarboxylic acid. Then that is pepsinogen and pepsin. Then another enzyme in gastric juice is rennin. It is also known as chymosin. Rennin acts on milk protein casein and it forms paracasein. Paracasein. Rennin acts on milk protein casein to form paracasein. This paracasein, it is further converted to calcium paracaseinate in presence of calcium. In presence of calcium, it is converted to calcium paracaseinate. It is a curd-like substance. And this calcium paracaseinate, it can be digested by this pepsin. And it forms peptones and proteoses. So rennin acts on milk protein casein to form paracasein. Paracasein in presence of calcium, it is converted to calcium paracaseinate. It is a curd-like substance. This calcium paracaseinate can be digested by this pepsin and it is broken down into smaller peptides like peptones and proteoses. So that is digestion in stomach. Coming to digestion in the duodenum, the food bolus reaches the duodenum from stomach where it meets pancreatic juice. It meets pancreatic juice. And this pancreatic juice, it contains a number of proteolytic enzymes like trypsin, chymotrypsin, elastase and carboxypeptidase. This trypsin, chymotrypsin, elastase, these are endopeptidases. Endopeptidases. That means they cleave internal peptide bonds. And these carboxypeptidases are exopeptidases. These are exopeptidases. So coming to trypsin, this trypsin, it is secreted as an inactive zymogen form. Its inactive form is called zymogen. That inactive form of trypsin is called trypsinogen. So trypsin is secreted as an inactive zymogen form, that is known as trypsinogen. This trypsinogen is activated to trypsin by the enzyme enterokinase. Enterokinase. And this enterokinase is an intestinal brush border enzyme. Enterokinase is an intestinal brush border enzyme. And here bile salts helps in the liberation of this enterokinase from the brush border membrane of intestinal epithelial cells to intestinal lumen. And this trypsinogen is converted to trypsin by this enterokinase. Then once it is activated, this trypsin itself can help in its own activation. That is known as autocatalysis. Once it is activated, trypsin itself can help in its own activation and it is known as autocatalysis, like that of pepsin. Here, calcium is required for the activation. This trypsin belongs to the family of serine proteases. Serine proteases. And this trypsin, it will act in an alkaline medium. The pH is around 8 to 9. In the case of pepsin, this pH is around 2. Pepsin, it is 2. Here, highly acidic medium. And in trypsin, in the case of trypsin, it is highly alkaline medium, that is pH is around 8 to 9. This trypsin can hydrolyze peptide bonds of basic amino acids. It can hydrolyze peptide bonds of basic amino acids like lysine, arginine, etc. And this trypsin can convert inactive chymotrypsinogen to active chymotrypsin. Trypsin converts inactive chymotrypsinogen to active chymotrypsin. And this chymotrypsin, it hydrolyzes peptide bonds formed by the carboxyl groups of aromatic amino acids. Aromatic amino acids. Chymotrypsin hydrolyzes peptide bonds formed by the carboxyl groups of aromatic amino acids. Then trypsin can also activate the zymogen proelastase to its active form elastase. Proelastase to elastase. This elastase can hydrolyze peptide bonds formed by amino acids like glycine, serine, etc. Elastase can hydrolyze peptide bonds formed by amino acids like glycine, serine, etc. Then another enzymes are carboxypeptidase. So these trypsin, chymotrypsin and elastase, these are endopeptidases which can cleave or which can act on internal peptide bonds. The next enzyme is carboxypeptidase. Two types are there, carboxypeptidase A and carboxypeptidase B. These carboxypeptidases are exopeptidases and hydrolyze the carboxy terminal or C terminal peptide bonds. Coming to carboxypeptidase A, it is a metal enzyme that contains zinc. It is secreted as an inactive zymogen procarboxypeptidase A. It is secreted as procarboxypeptidase A. It is the inactive form. And trypsin, here also trypsin converts inactive procarboxypeptidase A to active form carboxypeptidase A. And this carboxypeptidase A, it can act on carboxy terminal or C terminal peptide bond of aromatic amino acids. Aromatic amino acids like phenylalanine, tyrosine, tryptophan. That is carboxypeptidase A. Coming to carboxypeptidase B, it is also secreted as inactive zymogen form procarboxypeptidase B. And here also trypsin converts procarboxypeptidase B to its active form carboxypeptidase B. And this carboxypeptidase B, it acts on carboxy terminal peptide bond of arginine, lysine. And these carboxypeptidases are exopeptidases, which means it can cleave the terminal amino acids or it can cleave terminal peptide bond. So these are the enzymes in pancreatic juice. Another enzyme is there that is known as collagenase. This collagenase will act on the proteins present in collagen. And both these collagen, elastin and collagen, elastase and collagenase. This can digest yellow and white connective tissue fibers respectively to yield peptides. Elastase and collagenase. Here it will act on or it will digest yellow connective tissue fibers to peptides, white connective tissue to peptides. So these are the enzymes in pancreatic juice: endopeptidases and exopeptidases, trypsin, chymotrypsin, carboxypeptidase, elastase. Then another enzymes in proteolytic enzymes are present in intestinal juice. These are aminopeptidases aminopeptidases and Tri and dipeptidases. These are the proteolytic enzymes in intestinal juice. Coming to aminopeptidases, it is present on the luminal surface of intestinal mucosa. It is present on luminal surface of intestinal mucosa. It is an exopeptidase. Like that of carboxypeptidase, aminopeptidases are also exopeptidases. And this aminopeptidases acts on N-terminal peptide bond. N-terminal. Carboxypeptidase act on C-terminal or carboxy-terminal peptide bonds, and aminopeptidases acts on N-terminal peptide bonds and releases free amino acids. That is aminopeptidases. Coming to Tri and dipeptidases, this tripeptidases acts on tripeptide. Tripeptidase. Tripeptidases act on tripeptide and release a dipeptide and a free amino acid. And this dipeptide is acted upon by dipeptidase and it forms two amino acids. So tripeptidase acts on tripeptide to form dipeptide and free amino acid. Then dipeptide, it is acted upon by dipeptidases to form two amino acids, and they require Mn++, CO++ and Zn++ for their activation or for their as cofactors for their activity. So in brief, this protein digestion occurs as a result of hydrolysis of the peptide bonds that bind the individual amino acids. Hydrolysis of peptide bonds that bound to the individual amino acids in the polypeptide chains. And these reactions are catalyzed by the enzymes known as proteases or proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic enzymes. So the dietary proteins are hydrolyzed to individual amino acids by these proteolytic enzymes, which can be easily absorbed into the bloodstream. So this is about digestion of proteins. This is today's topic. Thank you for watching.